Hello everyone, I am Demented Kirby and welcome to my channel, the Commander Tavern. The Commander Tavern is a channel dedicated to my favorite Magic the Gathering format. The Brewery is a series on this channel where I discuss my spicy brews and other deck techs. On this episode of the Brewery, I will be discussing a new commander that was just previewed on the Wizards of the Coast website, Chulane, Teller of Tales. This new Bant legendary creature is one of 4 that will lead the Brawl decks set to release with the latest set, Throne of Eldraine. This legendary human druid costs 2 green, white, and blue for a 2/4 with 3 abilities, which isn't bad for that mana cost. Similar to Rune of the Hidden Realm, it has Vigilance with a tap ability, allowing you to attack with it as well, instead of just having it in play for its tap ability. Also, its activated ability pairs really well with its triggered ability. For just 3 and tapping, Chulane returns a creature you control to its owner's hand. No doubt one strategy many will want to employ here is to bounce back creatures that have entered the battlefield abilities or creatures with leaves the battlefield abilities. That wouldn't be a bad strategy, yet I feel that there already exists better legendary creatures for abusing these kinds of abilities, like Rune of the Hidden Realm and Brago, King Eternal. Instead, what interests me more is Chulane's triggered ability. Anytime you cast a creature spell, you get to draw a card and drop a land from your hand. His activated ability is simply a means to power his triggered ability if you ever run out of steam. And that is precisely the focus of this brew. By casting enough cheap creatures with Chulane in play, you can draw into a ton of cards. Not only that, but any lands you draw into can be dropped right into the battlefield. And what are the best cheap creatures in these colors? Mana dorks. Creatures like Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarch, Avacyn's Pilgrim, etc. really go the extra mile in this deck. Not only that, most mana dorks are elves, so including Elvish Archdruid and Priest of Titania really helps to generate a ton of mana. Including Lotus Cobra helps cast these dorks practically for free. When you drop a land with the triggered ability, you generate a mana of any color which could be used to cast the mana dork. Other creatures that could definitely be included are cantrips, creatures like Coiling Oracle, Elvish Visionary, etc. These creatures will draw your card when entering the battlefield and when being cast. Not only that, but these creatures are cheap to cast as well, allowing you to cast many of them during a same turn. Casting so many creatures is something that should definitely be taken advantage of. The Amonkhet God Monuments trigger whenever you cast a creature, and they are incredible in this deck. Bantu's Monument could easily win you the game. Hazaret's Monument helps you loot. Oketra's Monument makes you warrior tokens. Ronus' Monument can also provide a win con in the form of making Chulane huge and then attacking with him to take out an opponent. By the way, these last 2 have the added bonus of reducing the cost of white and green creatures in the deck. Other ways to take advantage of casting creatures is by drawing into even more cards. Cards like Beast Whisperer, Primordial Sage, Zendikar Resurgent, etc. make you draw even more creatures when casting creatures. Getting Watley Radiant Champion's Emblem is even crazier. However, Chulane doesn't just cantrip when you cast a creature. You can also drop a land from your hand while you're at it. Cue the landfall triggers. Though heavy dedication to landfall is not necessary, including some seasoned landfall creatures like Avenger of Zendikar, Emeria Angel, Tireless Tracker, and Rampaging Baloths wouldn't hurt. While on the landfall theme, you can use creatures like Meloku the Clouded Mirror in case you didn't have a land in your hand, or if you want to produce a token, technically for free. A great land that goes along with this strategy is Ghost Town. You can return it to your hand during an opponent's turn if you don't have a land in your hand to trigger landfall. Other lands that are great for landfall here are the Bounce lands, Karoo lands, and Treva's Ruins. With all the card draw, you could also employ that as a valid win con thanks to Laboratory Maniac and Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Adding in cards like Alhamaret's Archive means that any card you draw past the first one you draw in your draw step is doubled. Add in Sphinx's Revelation, Blue Sun Zenith, and Stroke of Genius, and you're definitely on the right track to deck yourself for the victory. Either way, those X draw spells are great on their own in this deck as mana sinks. If all goes south, you can still use deterrents that help you out as well. Evacuation is a board wipe that bypasses Indestructible, but it will also bounce your own creatures back so that you can continue abusing Chulane. Aura Shards help clear the board of annoying artifacts and enchantments. Grand Abolisher helps secure your turn is safe from counter magic. And also, with so many mana dorks, overloading a Cyclonic Rift is a piece of cake. Chulane alone is such a value engine and it's very easy to generate a lot of synergy with him. The deck could very easily pseudo-storm out, which is why it can win by various methods. You could easily win in just a couple of turns with either Flux Reservoir or Psychosis Crawler. This deck allows for many methods of victory. You can also generate a bunch of creatures because most of them are cheap and you're creating tokens all throughout. Casting a devastating Crater Hoof Behemoth is very viable with all the mana dorks as well. And if that weren't enough, you could bounce it back with Chulane and then recast it in the same turn. Chulane's main strategy in this brew is all the more synergistic thanks to his toolbox. Cards like Intruder Alarm are nuts with all the mana dorks. You could easily generate a ridiculous amount of mana. Cathar's Crusade can make your creatures kaiju level huge. Path of Discovery helps filter your draw or pump your creatures. Wild Pair basically doubles all the mana dorks you play. Mulmer Vig, Simic Visionary, pairs ridiculously well with Chulane. If you arrange the triggers on the stack accordingly, you can draw into the creature you just tutored with Mulmer Vig when you cast it with Chulane. Incredible. Cloudstone Curio helps bounce your creatures for free whenever another one enters the battlefield. This can also produce lots of value with pertinent triggers. You could very easily get infinite Chulane triggers thanks to Cloudstone Curio and Ugin's Conjurant with Endless One. If you have Cathar's Crusade in play, you can simply cast either creature for 0 and bounce back the other one. You can continue in this loop until you deck yourself with Laboratory Maniac in play or have completed the triggers as many times as you like. Thanks to this infinite loop, with Cathar's Crusades your creatures can be as large as you want. With Psychosis Crawler you can ping everyone at the table, and you could potentially kill off the table either way with Ether Flux Reservoir, or, as previously mentioned, deck yourself with Lab Maniac in play. This brew is how I envision Chulane and how I would run him. There might be new cards released in Commander 2019 and Throne of Eldraine that would make this deck even better. But as far as previews go, this is a commander that I definitely want to continue brewing with. You can find the current deck list I'm experimenting with down below in the description. Thanks for watching this episode of The Brewery on the Commander Tavern. I am Demented Kirby and happy brewing.